What is going on, everybody? Welcome to a whole new space. What's going on with this? This is actually my new garage here in Austin, Texas. I have moved from the old garage we had in Dallas. Sad day. It was quite a nice setup, beautiful blue space, but times change. I'm actually in a much better spot right now for my whole life in general. So this is the new space, the new garage. I think we can fit about 4 or 5 bikes in here. Honestly, I'll show you guys around here a little bit. The space is not as cramped as it might seem on camera. I'm still settling in, so there's still a lot to be done. But yeah, I think we can fit about 4 or 5 bikes in here, which is really good. And as you can tell too, it is insulated at the top. So thankfully, we don't get any more of that crazy echo like we used to get at our old apartment. So excuse the mess a little bit, but today is really exciting because we will be installing our slip-on exhaust system for the RC390. So you can see on there, provided by Leo Vinci. Really cool stuff. So yeah, we're gonna be fitting this up. Looks to be a pretty simple install, not too complicated. Looks like one hanging pin and then just slide it in and out. Pretty simple. I've done slip-ons before. It's not too bad. The only thing is, which is kind of funny, I'll show you guys this. So yesterday I bought a bunch of new tools for this garage because, as I mentioned on Instagram, all of my tools are actually at my trackside garage now with the Daytona. And so I bought a bunch of new, just standard kind of tools to use here in the new garage. Somehow the socket wrench set that I bought, both the big one and the little one, neither one of them has a 12mm bolt or 12mm socket. So really bizarre. I have to buy one of those. I thought for sure this one and this one, between either this one or this one, would have it, but they didn't. So not a big deal. We just have to go back and buy one. So today we will be removing this bolt here with pliers, unfortunately. So let's get started. So I think the first thing that's going to be helpful for this video is getting a sound clip of the stock exhaust. So let's do that right now. We're going to open the garage and get a little sound check. So as you can tell, pretty quiet. The bike is a little low on gas, so I don't want to rev it too much. But we're going to be slapping this old little muffler off and putting the new slip-on on, so let's go. As a note, I do not recommend getting bolts off with pliers. It makes them all ganked up, but today we have to do it because we don't have a 12mm bolt and because I am very low on time. So unfortunately, it's going to have to be one of those jobs today. Let this be a lesson to make sure you always get the right sockets. Can't believe I didn't have a 12mm in here. That's crazy. Okay, so now we got one underneath here that we're gonna get to. It's actually an Allen key, so we'll pop it off. Now we just inserted a link pipe to the slip-on itself. This is how the piece is going to sit on the bike, just like that, right there. Easy peasy. It's going to utilize the stock clamps, and we're going to put a little hook clamp right in here. There we go. That's all the way in. Historically, Leo Vinci's little hook clamps are a little bit tough, so we're going to mount this up and then hook it in there. Otherwise it's going to be pretty difficult to put on there. So let's slip this one back on, as the name implies. Alrighty guys, we just finished up putting on the slip-on exhaust. Really easy install. Slip-ons are a great option for people who want a little bit more sound but don't really want to mess with fuel controllers, full header systems, and all that other stuff, because it is a way bigger job to actually do full exhaust on a bike. It's not a big job, but compared to doing a little slip-on, it's a bit of a more involved process. Like, this took me literally 25 minutes, I think, on the dot. And we're about to start it up, see how it sounds, and then go from there. But it's a really simple job. You just literally slide it in, slide it out. Some are even easier than this one. This one had a bit of an extra pipe that you had to put on, but most of them you just literally slide the pipe in and out. But let's get a sound check and see what it's like. So as you can tell, it gives it a bit of a sharper note, a little bit stronger than stock. But let's get it out on the road and see what it sounds like in real life. Alrighty boys, what's going on? As you can tell, I am pulled over in a lovely part of the hill country of Texas here in Austin. This is where I live now. Not this place particularly, this is some person's random property that I random to happen upon. But yeah, let's talk about new slip-on on the RC. So you just saw in the garage video, we just installed it. Really easy install. All it took was just sliding off the old pipe, putting on the new one. Really simple stuff. I'm really liking it so far. I'm actually changing my mind on slip-on, so we'll get into a little bit of that here while we explore some of these nice roads that we have to offer here. But yeah, I'll tell you all my thoughts on this and more slip-on systems. Let's go. We get a sound check. So you can definitely hear it a lot more. It's not a full system by any means. It's not gonna be super loud or anything, but it definitely adds a little bit extra zest to your everyday ride. All right, clear to go. So for those of you that might be unfamiliar with this area, this is the hill country of Texas. Texas, in case many of you are unfamiliar, is a relatively large and flat state. But there are a couple pockets of elevation, mainly here in the hill country in the central part of the state, and then further down in the southwest part towards Big Bend and all that kind of stuff. But to be honest, that's so far out that it's pretty tough to consider it even Texas, but it is within the bounds of Texas, so Big Bend and all that is way down there. But I absolutely love this part of the state. It, to me, reminds me of like the small hills of California, of SoCal and that kind of stuff. They're not as huge as the hills in Cali. Like, the hills in Cali are a little bit bigger, but these hills are quite nice. And you know what? This is just a nice scenery, nice roads to be on, and I'm really happy to be on this bike. So, what is going on with this Leo Vinci slip-on? Well, I think a lot of things, honestly. So I used to really write off slip-ons. I was like, I don't really understand the purpose. I was like, they just, they cost like a couple $100. They're gonna make your bike a little bit louder. What's the point? But honestly, given the ease of the install and the fact that you get actually quite a bit of louder sound, and it sounds really nice. You get a better look out of it too. The exhaust looks absolutely awesome. I think that it's a win-win-win, to be honest, and it really fits a certain type of rider. If you don't want to fiddle with taking off an entire exhaust system, which some people really don't, guys. Like, some people don't want to, sit there and fiddle and take off an entire exhaust system on their bike. And if you're just looking to get a bit of a better sound and you literally, want to spend 20 minutes in the garage and knock it out, this is a great modification, honestly. As you can tell, it's not super louder than stock,
we're going to get a couple clips of it here just riding purely, and then I'll compare some of it to the clips I have, and we'll see what it sounds like compared on mic to mic. But I think it sounds really, really great, honestly. Gives it a bit of a bark, a bit of a character, but nothing too intense, you know? Because that's the other thing too. A full exhaust system. Here, we'll open it up. So you get a better sound for sure. But it's nothing too crazy, unlike a full exhaust system, which can really be quite loud if you're you know, not careful with the baffling system, like I was not, rather, because on the FZ07, the last bike we had as our giveaway, and we put the full exhaust on, it was really quite loud. It was really without that baffling system, quite a loud motorcycle, which made it, you know, a bit obnoxious, honestly. Like, you don't, I mean, guys, look at it this way, like, I'm getting a bit older nowadays, and I don't really want to be seen on a bike that is unbearably loud, right? There were times where I was on the FZ07 and I thought, man, this thing is just way too loud. And that really says something when I'm wearing a helmet, earplugs, and I'm on the motorcycle and I'm thinking, this thing's a bit too loud. I can only imagine what people outside thought of it, honestly. So I think a slip-on makes a lot of sense. I think a full exhaust system, when properly baffled, makes a lot of sense too. But I really like this thing. So honestly, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. I really didn't have anything else planned for it, other than just showing you guys the new slip-on system, how it sounds. The other thing to note about slip-ons is their performance gains are pretty negligible. You might see like half a horsepower, maybe 2 horsepower if you're lucky, something like that. But to be honest, I think if you're doing exhaust modifications to like get a bunch of power out of a bike, it's a bit silly. In order to get a lot of power out of a bike, to be honest, you'd have to do something like a full exhaust, a full dyno tune, a full fuel mapping. Then you would see your like 5 to 10 horsepower gains. But even then, that's going to be all at the top end, and that's going to sacrifice your bottom end power. Really more for race applications, not legal for the street too if you're running it completely open like that without a catalytic converter or something like that. It's going to be a headache when it comes time for inspections. You have to put the stock exhaust back on. So that's why I really think for all of our giveaway bikes, we're probably only going to do slip-on systems, because full exhaust systems are a bit of a hassle, and I don't really want our giveaway bike winners to have to deal with the hassle with these bikes. I really just want them to be ready to ride and a lot of fun, and the way that I would ride them. And nowadays, the way that I would ride them is with a slip-on system rather than a full exhaust system, to be honest. I think full exhaust systems have their place, but to be honest, the way that they market them, you know, that it's like race applications only, that makes a lot of sense to me. I think that's a good place to start with your full exhaust. So that's going to wrap it up for today. I'm going to cruise here a little bit longer on these roads. Might include some of this footage, might not. But I'll catch you guys on the next one. See you next week for another episode of our Beginner Bike Giveaway series. Tune in this week for all kinds of fun list videos and that kind of stuff. We're pumping out 6 videos a week now, which is really cool. And I'll catch you guys next time. See you later.